Inkomoko, a business accelerator firm based in Rwandan that provides business advisory and access to finance for thousands of entrepreneurs in East Africa, just recently celebrated its 10th anniversary. The New Times caught up with Julien Euler, founder and CEO of Inkomoko, to discuss about the work of the organization in supporting businesses and producing a next generation of entrepreneurs on the continent.
The journey of Inkomoko started when my co-founder Sarah and we were actually traveling around various parts of the continent. And we were in West Africa and East Africa. And one of the things that united or sort of tied together this experience was the amount of really smart and creative young people that we saw. Didn't matter if we were in a capital city or out in a rural area. There were young people who had great ideas, but also they had tremendous commitment to improving their communities. So they had a lot of purpose and a lot of great ideas, but they didn't have a ton of resources. And so when we started thinking about Inkomoko, we really wanted to keep those young people, front and center. And we said, what if we were able to offer a service that helped people with good ideas take their ideas to market so that they could be the job creators that our countries so desperately need, but that they could also be the ones who are solving our community's most pressing issues. Because they live in the community, they are passionate about their communities. So that's really how the idea for Inkomoko started 10 years ago, was that we were incredibly inspired by the ideas that we heard and the young people who had them. As you know, the word Inkomoko in Kinyarwanda means the origin. And that's really what we think of at Inkomoko, is being able to be that early seed, the source of ideas and inspiration for entrepreneurship. And what I love about the term Inkomoko, especially as we're thinking about expanding into more and more countries, that Rwanda will always be the place where we got our start. Rwanda will always be our origin. And as we grow the Inkomoko brand continent-wide. There have been so many rewarding parts of the last 10 years, and it's hard to pick just one. But if I had to, it was talking with one of our early clients, a business called Inkomoko Builders. And this was started by a young man who had this great idea, and he wanted to turn this idea into a business. And he started his business about the same time that Inkomoko started in Rwanda. And so at our 10-year celebration, we were actually able to celebrate our 10 years together. And one of the things that he did was he brought a check for 1 million Rwandan francs. And he said, I want Inkomoko to take this money and invest it in a young startup, somebody who has a great idea. But I don't want them to know that the money came from me. Because Inkomoko, you took a chance on us before we had made a name for ourselves. And now we want to pay it forward to a young startup. And the only thing we want is for that startup to know that their community believes in them. And I thought that was just such a powerful opportunity. So when I first came to Rwanda, this was in 2012, and almost instantly I knew that this was the country where we wanted to launch. And I mean, you see it when you walk down the streets, and the streets are clean, you feel safe, but also just this country with the environment for being an entrepreneur and for supporting small businesses. So many of the things that small businesses struggle with across the continent, being able to register formally, being able to register to pay for taxes, having having those facilities are so important when you get started. And the fact that Rwanda has made it such a priority to make those easy and straightforward for people to start businesses, we were like, this is the place we want to be. And so as we think about other countries, we want to take the lessons that we're learning here and to be able to take those into new markets. And so far it's working in both Kenya and Ethiopia. So we measure a number of things to make sure that we at Inkomoko are doing right by our clients and our partners. We want to see businesses grow. So we measure a business's growth in terms of their monthly turnover, how many employees that they are hiring. We also want to see them be able to accumulate assets, how they can add capacity to their businesses. We work with a number of different business types. We work with SMEs, but we also work with micro businesses out in various communities, especially those in and around refugee camps. And so when we think about those businesses, we also look at, are those businesses helping people improve their lives? Are they eating healthier diets? Are their kids going to school? Are they able to, generate wealth for future generations? So it's not just about, are they able to repay their investments? But it's, are we seeing growth and are we seeing livelihood improvement? So our experience working with SMEs has been very rewarding, but as you know, it's difficult to be an SME. And the advice that we give to SMEs, regardless of whatever industry you're in, it's that you have to understand your customer. And if you are not offering a product that your customer is willing to part with their hard-earned cash for, then you're not going to make it. And I think far too often when we start businesses, we ask, what if I had this product, would you buy it from me? And we typically make decisions based on those scenarios. But when we see businesses succeed, it's much more around, are people actually paying for things? Are they offering a product or a service that is a painkiller, not a vitamin? So over the last 10 years, Inkomoko has worked with about 40,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises. And around 55% of those businesses are women-led. And we made it a point from very early on to say that women have more hurdles to access financing, to access business support. So we made it a point to say, we need to figure out how we can support women entrepreneurs. And we do that in a couple of ways. One, we hire women staff so that when a business advisor goes out and an entrepreneur is a woman and they see a woman business advisor, they know that they're going to get the types of services that are applicable for their business. The other thing we do is we make it so that we have women who are our investment officers, so that we are providing sort of maybe a more familiar type of conversation where we have some of our women investment officers say, here's what it takes to get a loan or to get an investment from us. And then we also have women business groups. Right? We support women entrepreneurs in Mombasa and we support women entrepreneurs in Kigali. And we have opportunities for those women to connect with each other so they can share their experiences, what are some of the challenges where they see opportunities. But it really is a focus of ours and something that we hope to improve even as we go forward. To be perfectly honest, I think in Inkomoko, we still have a lot more we can do to be inclusive for people who have disabilities. One of the things that we have at our training is we make sure that we have instructors who speak local languages. We make sure that we have facilities that are accessible to people who have mobility issues. We have sign language interpreters where needed, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough. And as we go forward and we work in communities where we have a lot of different types of entrepreneurs, we need to make sure that we're providing equitable and inclusive services. So at Inkomoko, we get businesses who have millions of different needs. And unfortunately, we can't respond to every need. So we have to offer services that are both broad, but also hopefully empowering those business owners to take that knowledge to be able to find more resources once they leave Inkomoko. We have people coming to us that say, we want more in-depth coaching, or we want a specific type of service that we can't offer. And so one of the ways that we try to fix that is by also working with partner organizations, organizations that we can refer our clients to. And also, as we continue to grow, we are continuing to offer new services. So as we look to the next 10 years, we are thinking about what is the post-investment advisory service that we can offer? If there's some specific industry services that we can make sure that we are able to provide. I mean, it's all like we have to stay relevant to the market for us to succeed. So if our clients aren't getting the services that they need from us, we need to listen to them, and we need to make sure that we're offering what's relevant to them, and that changes. To be a successful entrepreneur on the continent, it takes a number of things. One, it takes really understanding the community. Like I said before, you have to have a product and service that your community needs. If you don't, no one's gonna buy it. But the other part, for me personally, when I think of what it's taken us to get to the 10-year mark, it's been surrounding myself with advisors, people who have experience where I was still new. It's surrounding myself with people who push us, challenge us. It's being humble, but also having faith and believe in you and your team to keep showing up every day. And those are hard things when you're starting out and you have to prove yourself. It's hard to keep going, but to all of those entrepreneurs out there who believe in themselves, who believe in their teams, who believe that they truly have a product market fit, I say, keep going. We know you can do it. When Inkomoko started, we had this goal. We had this big dream, and that was to work with 100 businesses a year. And we said, if we could do that, then by our 10-year mark, we would work with a couple thousand. And now, in 2022 alone, we're working with 12,000 businesses. So we're far beyond what we ever thought possible. So when we think about the next 10 years, it's how are we challenging ourselves to work with more businesses in more communities, in more countries. And so by the end of 2030, we will work with over 500,000 businesses in 5 countries, working in over 40 different communities. And when we think about the impact that will have, not just at the Inkomoko level, but for people's lives, for businesses to be connected with one another, I think it's going to be incredibly powerful. But also, when we look for the next 10 years at Inkomoko, we want to be a really great employer. We want to be a place where people want to work and where they can come and offer great opportunities for growth and innovation from day one. We want to see people, grow in leadership and grow in their own careers. So, as a leader of the organization, I see this as a two-part objective. One, to make sure our services are doing right by our clients by serving more businesses in more places, but also where Inkomoko is a great place to bring your own ideas, to be innovative and grow your careers. So we started in Rwanda in 2012, and we've grown from one small office in Kigali to now we have 9 offices across the country. We work in 8 districts. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is being very intentional about Inkomoko expanding into more of Rwanda's secondary cities. Next month, we're opening an office in Huye and in Kabarore. And I believe that with an even broader network of Inkomoko service providers and investment officers, we can bring our services out to more people in all parts of the country. But we also want to be in partnership with the economic development strategies that we have in this country. And so as we see Inkomoko growing over the next 10 years, it's not just about serving individual businesses, but it's about how are we connecting them to larger opportunities, cross-border trade, being able to export, across the continent. And I think with so many new policies, but also so many more Inkomoko offices across the continent, we'll be able to establish some really strong market linkages. So one of the values of Inkomoko is, we write this all over the walls of our various offices, but we have a saying, we eat goat. And what that means at Inkomoko is that, every so often, a couple times a year, we come together as a team and we have what we call a goat party. And these are times for us to celebrate success together. But there are also times where we come together as a team and we hold each other up in hard times. So the Inkomoko Goat Party has become, a thing that we do for our staff and our partners as a way for us to come together in community and, when appropriate, to celebrate. So for our 10th anniversary, we had the biggest goat party that we've ever had, where we invited all of our staff from Rwanda, Kenya, Ethiopia. We had over 200 partners. And most importantly, we had 400 of the clients that we've worked with over the last 10 years come together in celebration. And we wanted to make it really special. And one thing that we like to do at Inkomoko is dance together. And you can't dance without good music, and you can't have good music without good DJs. And so that's what we did. We said, who are the people we look up to in Rwanda? Who are the people who have been there for us from the beginning? Who are the partners that we've had for a long time? And we invited the leaders of those organizations like, Bank of Kigali, the Development Bank of Rwanda, Rwanda Development Board, and more. And we said, we want to celebrate with you. And so that's how we came up with this fun battle of the DJs to get us all on the dance floor to celebrate together and also, have a little fun.